What's up guys, Moniz here and welcome to a PC build video. This is a budget gaming build. In fact, this build is for my brother-in-law. He came up to me the other day, he's like, Matt, listen, my computer's dying. I need something that's gonna be used for productivity. I wanna game on it every once in a blue moon. I don't care if the graphics are perfect. I just wanna be able to game on it very lightly. And most importantly, it needs to look good, it needs to be minimalistic, and it doesn't make any noise. I was like, okay, I can do this. I know exactly what components to get. I just wasn't sure what case I was gonna get. I went out to Corsair, I went out to Fantex. They had some great stuff, but nothing really stood out to me. Then all of a sudden, the guy next to me who comes to the office every once in a while, Ash Taylor, he's like, Matt, why don't you go to the Streetcom website and order the DB4? Well, here it is, the Streetcom DB4. I absolutely love this thing. Not only is it very beautiful, it's just very easy to work with. All these metal plates come off, it's easy to get your hands inside. The motherboard plate in the middle slides right out so you can place the motherboard on it and put it back in. There's tons of room for hard drive, there's room for SSDs, and of course, your power supply. The only thing that's really different is that all the I/O is on the bottom of the case. So you have to put all your cables underneath, but the way it's designed, you can kind of make it nice and tidy where it doesn't stick out and go everywhere. The power supply we went with was also from Streetcom. It was their ZF240. This thing is fanless, so it contributes to the whole idea of having a quiet system. It's very easy to install, it doesn't take up much space, and it provides about 240 watts of power. If they were to actually actively cool this thing, they could probably push it to 450 watts. Now for the CPU, with the AMD Ryzen 5 2400G. This is the best bang for your buck CPU APU you can get for under $100. Not only does it have enough cores to provide great multi-threaded performance, it also has an APU that's powerful enough to game lightly with settings set to very low. This is perfect for him. It has more than enough power to do his productivity tasks, and if he really wants to, he can game with some pretty light games every once in a while. Now, unfortunately, I didn't use the heat pipes that came with this case if I wanted a total fanless build. The reason being is that this APU CPU comes with a Wrath air cooler right in the box, and an air cooler is going to do a much better job than a fanless design. The motherboard was kind of tough to pick though. We had to look around for a mini ITX motherboard that supported the 2400G but also had an HDMI port. You'd be surprised how many mini ITX motherboards there are that don't have a display port. This one's great because the AB350N gaming Wi-Fi not only has an HDMI port, it has a display port as well. The APU and CPU are together, so you need to have a display port on your motherboard. The motherboard is also great in general. There's an M2 NVMe SSD slot, you have RGB lighting, you have 2 slots for your RAM up to 32 gigabytes, and you have an extra slot if you ever want to put a dedicated GPU in it down the road. For RAM, we went with 16 gigabytes. We're gonna do 8, but I figured he's gonna be keeping this thing for a few years, so I popped in 16, more than enough for what he does, and we went with HyperX Fury. This RAM is fantastic, it's great for the price. I love the color scheme of black, it just looks clean. There's also fan headers on it, so it keeps the RAM nice and cool, and it goes up to about 2400 megahertz. This is fine for this build because it's not gonna be overclocking it, and for what he does, it's more than perfect. And the last component is storage. We went with the Crucial MX300. This is a great SSD, especially for the price. The bigger drive you buy from Crucial, the better deal you get. We went with the 512 gigabyte. You save about 10 bucks when you compare it to the Samsung Evo. It's reliable, I've used them in the past, and I've had no hard drives from them fail on me. So more than fast enough to boot up his system, more than fast enough to last him 2 to 3 years down the road. And I know using this instead of a traditional hard drive is not gonna slow down his system. In terms of performance, the Ryzen 5 2400G is the best CPU you can buy for under $100. If you were to buy something comparable from Intel and Nvidia, not only would you have to buy the Intel CPU, you'd have to buy the Nvidia GT 1030, and on top of that, you'd have to buy a cooler. With the 2400G, everything already comes in the box. Now, in terms of performance, it's not faster than the GT 1030, but it's very close. In fact, if you're not familiar with desktop processors, it's also very similar to the MX 150. If you're gonna game with this, you are gonna have to drop the settings to low or very low, sometimes 1080p if you're lucky, but usually it's gonna have to be on 720p. In Overwatch, I was able to keep it at 1080p. I was getting very good frame rates of 70 to 80 frames per second. In Fortnite, same thing. 1080p getting about 70 to 80 frames per second with settings set to low. Now, if you want to play PUBG using this APU, you are going to have to drop it down to 720p. The game is very demanding, it's not very well optimized, so you're going to have to lower the settings quite a bit. So to wrap this all up, we have a beautiful budget gaming PC build for around $1,000. It's minimalistic, it looks great, it fits in with your furniture nicely, doesn't take up too much space, and most importantly, it's super quiet. Now, if $1,000 is too much for you, you want to shave some money to make this build a little bit cheaper, use a different case. This is a very expensive case, but for the situation, for what he wanted, I think it worked perfectly. If you choose a cheaper case, you can probably build this for around $750 to $800. So that wraps up this PC build. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you like it? Would you buy this for yourself? And if not, let me know what you'd do differently. Thanks guys again for watching. If you liked the video, hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. And as always, I will talk to you in the next video.